We are live. I am thrilled to be here. Hello to you if you are tuning in live. If you're tuning in after the fact, hello to you as well. I mean, we're not going to discriminate against anybody. But for those of you who are here, you're going to get a chance to ask some questions as we go. But I want to introduce Heather Hildenbrand, who is someone I really, you know what, Heather, we have bumped into each other quite a few times over the years at conferences and elsewhere. You're always such a pleasant, positive experience. So
thank
welcome
you.
to
Back at
Author Nation Live. Authors, I already flubbed it up. Author Anchor Live. I got too many author related things.
I didn't notice till you had to re-say it, and then I played
I had to say it again.
That's the wrong thing.
So this is a brand new thing, so we're gonna have to kind of play around with this, and my audio is going to give me fits. It keeps dropping out. Sorry about that. I'll see if I can figure that out. But this is the very first one of these. This is we're calling this Author Anchor Live. We're going to talk to folks like you about your experience working with some of our VAs, and we're going to talk about some of the VAs, talk to some of the VAs rather as well as time goes by. So welcome to the inaugural show. Hopefully it ends up being something people enjoy. So let's start. Let's talk first, because how long have you actually been using the service? How long have you had your VA?
So not that long. I connected with you in March. So yeah. Honestly though, I came home and did it immediately. We were probably working together by the end of March.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So quick. Yeah. It's a little while now, but you went immediately. Yeah. Like what? Something sold you.
Oh
it
man.
It had to have been more than me.
It was the universe. Kevin, you were an angel from the universe. I went to that conference really, I don't know if I was consciously looking for the answer at the conference, but I was just in a place where I really needed some more help and support. And, I did end up being in conversation with people a lot at that conference about that sort of thing. And so, good, just perfect timing. And then I have a coaching client, because I do coaching as well. And so I had a coaching client who used your service. Well, used you, not you, Kevin. Yeah. Used Author Anchor.
Definitely not me. Yeah.
Right. And had said great things about it. So I did already kind of know the concept. And so when I saw you, it did just kind of click in like, okay, this feels like the right thing to do next. Yeah. So yeah, I was already really, and I actually already had a PA, and so I think in my mind, I was like, oh, would I need I wasn't saying like, oh, I need a second PA. I was like, why do I still feel this overwhelmed? Yeah. But turns out that's what I needed. So yeah.
What was everyone's got a lot of different reasons why they end up needing help. What was sort of the deciding factor for you?
Yeah. The big picture was just that I have reached a place in my business where if I want to keep scaling, I just feel like the amount of things I want to do, I can't do it all. I do know some authors who do big business and they do it all, right? But so I don't want to say I can't. I will say I don't want to. I want to build a business that I can step away from and take vacations and things still happen. I just don't want to be the one doing them all. So I already knew that's what I wanted, but I didn't know what that looked like. And just like most authors, we don't have any experience building a team in that way. And so it's very trial and error, mostly error for a long time. And so that's why I didn't know what I needed and how to do it. Yeah. Yeah.
That's, and I've been talking about this for a while, writing about it for a while. One of the toughest things is to decide, like, I need the help. And because a lot of people worry about, like, am I going to bring this person on board and just have nothing to give them? Did you have to face something like that at all?
Yeah, I did. It's, because with you guys, I don't know if it's still like this, but the way it is with me and the way it works with Author Anchor is it's a 10-hour-a-week commitment. And I thought that sounds like, at times it sounded like nothing because I had so much piled up. But as we go on, I'm like, that's a lot. I get a lot for that. That's a lot of kind of productivity. And so, but I keep finding things for him to do because he's awesome. So
luckily you can add to your time. You're not limited to 10 hours a week.
I know. So it's been a really good, it's, just to get into like the mindset of how this is finally successful for me is like, it's been really good teaching me how to receive good help. I think that was the part that I struggled with before.
Yeah. It's, we get told a lot that you need to treat your writing career as a business. You've got some other things going on besides just the books. You've got the what's it called? Manifest Your, what is HEA? Happily Ever After.
Yeah, that's what it stands for. It's like a play on the acronym, right? Because I do a lot of coaching around like healing your nervous system, healing, the things that like hold us back, So it also stands for heal, embody, allow, which is the 3 steps that we talk about, like that it takes to really move past all your limitations so that you can so that you can manifest more success. But also in the romance world, yes, HEA, your happily ever after. Isn't that what we all want? Yeah.
That's what we all want.
Yeah.
I could use some of that right now.
Right.
Do you use a VA as part of that as well?
Yeah, I have been so blessed and just grateful that, again, the universe is sending me all the right people, especially with Sean, which is the VA I have through Author Anchor, because he is so capable of multitasking or doing lots of different things or switching gears. Originally, I thought, do I need a PA for my author stuff and then a separate PA for my coaching stuff? But he's really great about, little of this, little of that. And it's just been awesome to kind of have that person integrated into like everything. Cause obviously that's how I operate, is like a little of this, little of that,
Yeah.
So it's been really good. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. One of the, first of all, before I move on, if you're tuning in, I see we got a handful of people tuning in from various places. Feel free to ask a question. We'll answer as best we can. So one of the things that we've kind of, when we're talking to authors, as we're doing sort of the onboarding and then as they go through this whole thing, one thing we've noticed that we're kind of trying to figure out, what's the best way to deal with this. But sometimes authors come in thinking that, I'm going to pay for this person to help me. I'm just going to hand off everything that's on my plate on day one, and I'm going to just relax so that I can just go do my thing. What was it like you've worked with PAs before, so you probably had a process, but bringing someone new into your business, how did you decide this is something I need to hand off? This is how I need to do it. Like where did you start?
So I'm just going to rave about, I didn't ask Sean if I can say his name, but I've said it 47 times already. So that's what we're doing. But I'm just going to rave about him again because he helped make that a little bit easy, because what we did is in the interview, I learned like what, he knows such a broad variety of things, but like he has certain strengths that fit really well with some things I was already looking for help with. So I thought, well, let's just start there. Let's start with the thing that's going to come easiest to you. And I have learned through trial and error with different VAs and PAs that you can't hand it all off, like you said. It's a process, and not just for them not being able to, because who would be able to handle that? They don't know your business, but also for me. Training and working with someone new or on a new project takes time. And that was the thing I thought I didn't have enough of to begin with. So my bandwidth for training was also very like, it's just this. So we actually started kind of on a project basis. I mean, not in the way that, I said, I can only hire you for this project. It was just in my mind, I was like, let's tackle this thing. And so the first thing we tackled was my Shopify, and we really concentrated on that, which helped me streamline my time and focus too, to say, do this, do that. And it helped him get to know my business. And then slowly we kind of like have added things or expanded into other areas. And one thing builds on another. And he knows my business well enough that the more we add on to it, the better he is at mastering that new thing anyway, because he gets what I've built. He understands like all the moving parts now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I actually kind of pitch that a lot, that you should start with a project. I even have what I say is the perfect first project, which is to whatever it is that you're going to have them do, you should have them create a process for doing that. That's the first project. Yeah. That way, if things don't work out, you've also got a process you can use to hand off to someone else. But it also teaches, it's a low impact way to teach each of you how to work with the other. So
that is so smart. I haven't had him do a lot of that, so maybe I'll think about that and going back.
You should.
Yeah.
I tell everybody documentation is like vital, because you just never know what's going to happen. But think of it this way as well. You don't think of it in terms of you might be replacing this guy that you really love working with. Think of it as someday I might actually bring on more people and he could manage them, and so this is to help him do his job better. So,
you're so right.
When you went through, you mentioned Shopify. Was that something that when you did the onboarding call with the author anchor team, was that something you said specifically you were looking for?
Yeah, I mean, I had already built it, like a basic version of it myself, but yeah, I was specifically looking for somebody to come alongside and go, like, help me load all my products. Like, I have a ton of books. That just takes time, stuff like that. And BookBrush was great about, like, they had to go through this training program, so he already knew a lot of stuff that basic, like, author VA service would look for. But Sean, this is bonus points for Sean, which is what made me kind of choose him, is that he also has a background where he knows, like, coding and stuff.
Oh, handy.
So he brings a lot to the table, because it was a hard choice. I did interview more than one person, and it was a really hard choice. I mean, everyone's been amazing, and had a lot of skills that I could have used, but because I knew that's what I wanted, my Shopify. And then he also redid my website for Manifest Your HEA. So you can go check that out, manifestyourhea.com. It's beautiful. We just finished. And he knew how to do it already. That was a plus.
I think that is a huge strength. Not obviously I'm biased. Okay. I mean, I'm representing the company and what we're doing here, but one of the huge advantages I've seen since coming in is that these guys actually are training VAs. They're looking for VAs that have certain skill sets to begin with. Right. We need people who can do Shopify, who can do Facebook ads, things like that. But then every month they there's like a certain amount of required training that they get in author related things. So that just makes it easier on everybody.
I know this is you interviewing me, but I'm curious. Do they get to choose what kind of training they do for their continuing training? Or do you guys say, like, this month we're doing this?
My experience so far is that we tell them we're going to be doing X this month. Okay. So, but I don't think we would be opposed to, if they wanted to, suggest something, like, feel free.
I was curious. Yeah. Everything's been great so far. It just kind of popped into my head, like, if their specific author wanted more help with this thing, but also, like,
are you talking about you? I thought you meant the VA, but if an author comes in and says, I could really use something, I could really use this skill. So either someone who has that skill, or maybe train my VA to have that skill. You can request that. Yeah, we'll take that. I'm not going to speak for them and say, they're going to rush right out and find, it all depends on, how easy is it to find a subject matter expert, and, but I requested some things actually that I think are going to be useful for, when it comes to, like, branding and platform building and things like that. So, and for all I know, they're going to ask me to teach that. I don't know.
We'll so be careful what you ask for.
Yeah, I know you got to be careful when you're on the inside of it.
Yeah.
So you've been doing this now since March. I'm glad to hear you're having a great experience with it, because that means a lot. Or is it something, like, what are some of the things though, like, if you're going to give a caution to authors who want to do this, what would you? I don't want you to warn them away, but what would you warn them to consider?
I think the thing that, like you were saying earlier, that, like, some authors approach it saying, like, oh, I can just, give it all away to somebody else and just go relax. I think that's the hardest thing is like, you still have to think, like, no one's going to be able to like sort of strategically plan. You're still the strategist behind everything. So you do still have a hand. You do have to still direct the ship, and you want to. Authors that don't want to, I think, because they think they're not good at it. But a VA who didn't write your books is like, respectfully, I love Sean, but they're not going to be as even better at it than you, So, yeah, like you still have to be involved and have input, and you should want to, because no one knows your books better than you. Yeah, they can kind of feel almost like a partner at times, but they're not going to run the show for you.
I think you should think of them as something of a partner, though.
Yeah,
I think that's the wisest thing to do, because what you are kind of in this together, and in the same way that if you were running a coffee shop, you would have to trust that your staff, your baristas, and the people behind the scenes were doing everything possible to make the business successful. Same sort of thing.
True. Yeah.
So, what are some tasks above and beyond? You've mentioned the website. You've mentioned the storefront. Are there other tasks that you kind of go fall back on?
Yeah. He is helping me with my Klaviyo, which is the newsletter service through Shopify, which he didn't have training on either, because they train him on MailerLite, which is a basically the same, but it's different, like strategy wise, like the language you're going to use and how you run a direct store newsletter is totally different, right? So we've been learning that together, because I didn't know either. So that's been cool. And that's why I like that you said we're kind of partners, because we're learning it together, which means I say, hey, let's do it this way. And then I see it and I see something, like I'll learn something new and I'll go, oh no, let's do it this. Like, can you just change it all to this? And he's so flexible, because I do change my mind. So yeah, he's done the Shopify. Now we're in maintenance mode, and we're just always tweaking and looking at data and like, is this converting better than this? And he helps make changes and look at stuff like that. So it's just maintenance. Klaviyo, like I said, he just redesigned my whole Manifest Your HEA website down to like, sales pages with buy buttons that integrate for payment options, and like just stuff like that. Like I said, was so helpful that he already knew. I mean, he knows coding. So like there was stuff Shopify didn't do. And he was like, he just emails me and he's like, it wouldn't do it. So I just coded it and now it does. Don't worry about it.
Oh my gosh. I need this guy.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I was like, should I tell everyone how awesome he is? I don't know. But
I know that's the danger. Well, there's no real danger, because you can reserve, you've got him locked in for you're doing 10 hours.
And if he does have any availability, which I don't know if he does, for more hours, then cool. Maybe someone else can scoop him up. But
you want him to make money. You want him to succeed.
I do. Yeah. He's fabulous. And like I said, the other interviews I did, I could tell they were fabulous too. So anyone, I'm sure, is going to be great. Yeah. So that's where we're at right now. And then next, I'm going to have him start helping me create more social media content, because now that we've done those projects, like I said, he knows how I talk to my readers. He's learned like my voice, like writing the Klaviyo emails. He knows how I sound. And he can help me like pull hooks and stuff like that for social media, because he'll know like what readers are looking for based on, the tropes we share in every single newsletter and stuff like that. So it's like one thing has built on another and another. He's also amazing at graphics at a level I can't, like at a Photoshop level, like not just Canva. Like he's so good.
You have, you've scored. I mean,
you can't have him. Okay.
I don't know. I've got some inside track, a little bit of pull. That's really great. The reality is that, I don't want people thinking like everybody is going to be cookie cutter, stamped with these skills. Everybody's going to be the same. There's a variety of skills that you can kind of zero in on. It sounds like he's just kind of a whole package.
And all of that being said, I have also learned between him and other PAs I've worked with, and the other one I do have still, the willingness to learn
Yeah.
And the ability to take constructive feedback, actually, I would take those over any of the other skills I listed for Sean any day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a very good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's, you know, that makes it sort of infinitely expandable in a way.
Right.
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 What are some, would you consider, you know, because some people have asked me, like, if they could use the VA for, say, editing, like copy editing and things like that. Is that something that you would consider with maybe not this VA, maybe someone else, but like copy editing and things, you know, tasks like that? Is that something you would consider using VA for?
Like copy editing, like my book. Is that what you're talking about?
Right. That's what yes, I should have clarified.
Okay.
But
sorry,
it sounds like you already
copy editing, and my brain heard copywriting, and I was like,
okay. So yes, let me clarify because I forgot to say your book, but you also are using him to help with your newsletter and things like that. So clearly you are comfortable at that level. But you know, as authors, I'm a little touchy about who gets to touch the book. I don't know if you feel the same way, but I'm always curious to see where the line is for people.
It really just comes down to like if they're qualified, like, you know, if they can show that they're qualified to do that, like that they're gonna do a good job, then sure, you know, It's
kind of a loaded question. I'm really just sort of working in some of what we've told people they can ask for. So.
Yeah. I mean, again, I think that would be like dependent on the person. Like Sean brought these skills. Yeah. What if that person has already brought those skills?
Yeah.
And that's just on their resume, then sure. You know, it'd be like any freelance editor. I'd go, well, what books have you edited? Let me see, you know, some of your work, and then I can decide what I think. And so maybe, wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. You can have a whole staff. This is such an inexpensive solution that you can always just try it. You know, try the thing and see. Oh, this person can do it. That person, you know, I need to find someone else or whatever. It's also inexpensive enough that if you have like one-off projects that could take about a month to do, you could bring on another resource. I mean, you know, it's so reasonable. Again, completely biased.
I mean, I kind of am too, though. It's just been great. You know? Yeah.
So, what are you? Okay, now you have to be learning a few things from this. How have you sort of refined your process with this since this started?
I think the biggest thing is because I told you I already have an assistant outside of Author Anchor, and it's going well. I'm not replacing her. But I've learned, especially working with both of them, that I'm just learning what is each of their strengths and what is already in each of their wheelhouses. And those are their tasks. Like they're doing different things. And so like what my other assistant's good at and already running with, she keeps that. And then Sean gets basically everything else. And he's been great at just going, here's everything else. So, but I will still continue to think of it like that and go, and I'll say to both of them, you know, if this is something you try and you either feel like, you know, it's not a good fit or like you just hate it, I'm not going to make you keep doing it. Like I'll give it to the other or something, because let's play to your strengths. And I think that's the best thing I've learned about feeling like I really am building a team of support now.
That's wise. Yeah. I think that's a very good approach, and it's a very humane approach. You know, that's the thing I think people kind of overlook is it's not like you're bringing an AI or something in to do this for you that just doesn't need sleep and doesn't have off days or whatever. You know, these are people that you're working with.
Totally. And you know, as authors, we already have our list of things we hate about what we have to do. So like we get it, you know? So I want you to like it at least enough to, you know, be willing to do this work and whatever. Like it's not all glamorous, but if you hate it, we'll find somebody else, you know?
Yeah. Hate is so strong. That's such a strong word.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Well, I think we've pretty much covered everything. I want to talk just a little, at least, about some of what you're doing, your books and the Manifest Your Happily Ever After stuff. How are things going with you with all that?
It's good. I'm still learning to balance that. I'm better at balancing my assistants than I am at balancing these two companies. It feels like.
Story of our lives. Yeah.
Right. I like to joke that my coaching, which I did for a long time, kind of off and on, but I like to joke that it accidentally became successful essentially overnight. I mean, obviously it wasn't an accident, but it felt sudden that it was like suddenly like demanding more of my time. And so I said, I accidentally run two multi-six-figure companies. What happened? How did this happen? So I had to get like supported real quick, in several different areas. So I write a lot less, like I don't publish as often. And so I just split my time. And what that looks like is working with assistants to help produce like translations and stuff that I can be growing my author income, writing half as many books as I used to.
That's handy.
Yeah.
I snuck over and pulled your website up so that people
they're so
can
pretty.
see that. They are pretty. Those are
Sean
nice
did
covers.
the banner at the top with my character art.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah, that was separate character art and background and everything, and he created it all together.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
So, but he didn't generate the art. He just
right.
Okay,
so but this is like a graphic that he just kind of made without me giving direction.
Oh, that's excellent. Yeah.
I
was just kind of feeling around. It's like, oh, does this guy? We have like a super hidden like artist talent on our hands. Should we be, sending some design work his way? But it sounds like
probably, but
he might. So beautiful covers, by the way. I love all that.
Thank you.
You do, but I would expect no less from you. All right. Well, we need to probably wrap up. I do want to show. I don't want to skip. Hold on. I'm getting used to some of the features on here, so you have to forgive me. I'm not.
You're good. I didn't realize you could screen share like that. That was
I'm kind of learning this as we go too.
Right.
So this is your Manifest Your HEA, your Happily Ever After. I want to make sure people know. I need to pull up your actual URLs. So here is your website and here is Manifest Your HEA, and there we go. Clumsily done, but at least I got them in there. So Heather, I really appreciate you taking time. I know you're busy. That's why you had to have a VA. So I appreciate you. You could have had your VA show up.
I thought about it. No.
I don't know. I'm always a little weird about that. And I forget that, like, when I'm talking to some, I'm going to be interviewing some of the VAs in some future episodes. I want to make sure I don't want to out the authors they work with, because sometimes, that's not always desirable. Right. So I have to always kind of keep that in check. It's hard. So it's an interesting business, but it is a business, and you're using a resource that helps you kind of, grow as you need. So I'm glad it's working out for you.
And I just want to say too, like, officially, like, I just am so grateful for this service. So you guys are just doing such a cool thing. The fact that you guys offer training before they even come to us helps so much. Like, even just knowing the lingo, like when we say words that other people maybe don't already know, it's like they already get it so much.
Yeah.
So that it helps you get going a lot faster, I think. And so anyway, it's just been great. It's been I tell a lot of people about you guys. I'm like, just try it. It's been
I appreciate that.
So thank you.
That's a very good point. We're teaching them the language of the writers in the publishing community. That's a huge part. People have no idea, because I've used personal assistants, VAs before that had no experience in this, and so it from day one I'm having to educate them on things that if we already knew this and this, we could already be moved on. So
yes.
Very good.
Although he has learned, like, he knows what Shadow Daddy is now, and I don't think he knew what that was before. So he is learning
you're
stuff
saying,
from me.
You're saying there's pluses and minuses, is what you're saying.
Whatever, different kind of education,
Different education. Yeah, I may be too young for that education. All right. Well, thank you again for joining us. For everybody watching, you didn't ask any questions this time, and that's okay because we're going to be doing this again in the future. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, all the things that are important to YouTube and Facebook, etc. If you are on YouTube, welcome. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and make sure that you go and book your free discovery call at authoranchor.com. Use /promo in that, and that tells them that you got there from something I was doing, and I appreciate it. So Heather, again, I appreciate you being on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, everybody, that's going to be it, and we'll see you next time.